Bro. Herb Shock? Yeah, I could definitely use that. Get out of here. Sure, if I'm not a healer, bro. Like, come on, man. Hello everyone, my name is Cry. If you're watching this video, chances are you're new to Ascension, or you want to step foot into the Season 9 server Illum. Today, I'll go over things I've learned over the past 3 months and highlight tips and tricks to make your journey easier to traverse. I will explain basic concepts first, which includes starting out, spells and talents, what to look for while re-rolling, leveling tips and tricks, endgame, how to prestige, high risk, enchantments and good to know information. Then, I'll move on to more advanced concepts, which includes how do you make money, how do you farm scrolls, and Theorycrafting 101. Before I start, I would like to point out that things will be outdated at some point in the future, making this guide to some extent redundant, but I will be making follow-ups when the time comes, or if anything, will either pin a comment or edit the description of the video. Feel free to leave a comment with your questions and I will do my best to answer them. With everything said, I just want to say thank you for watching. So, you have made your character. Log in, and the first thing that Ascension hits you with is the Dice of Destiny. If you click it, you get 4 starting abilities you start out with, and you can pick and choose what you like. The abilities available to you are tank stances like Bear Form and Defensive Stance if you want to tank, healing abilities if you want to be a healer, and all the DPS archetype abilities like Rogue, Mage, Warlock, Warrior, and so on. If you press N on your keyboard, you will be taken to the character advancement window. This houses all your current abilities and talents your specialization has. Additionally, this is also where you pick your main stat, which is between strength, agility, intellect, and spirit. All of these have passives to them that changes depending on if you're wielding a one-handed or a two-handed weapon. Strength has devastating strikes and heavy swings. Agility has agile strikes and fatal wounds. Intellect has devastating spells and magic acceleration. And Spirit has empowered mending and spiritual acceleration. All of these offer different booms that can empower your specific playstyle. What we would like to take a look at is the skill cards tab at the bottom. This is where you can see all the obtained ability and talent cards you have, which you can get from skill and talent card packs, which we will touch on later. What most players do is card the starting ability spells as to not be endlessly rolling starting abilities. Later, when you prestige and have gotten some ability and talent cards, this is also how you ensure to get abilities and talents for your build. If you're just starting out, you have not obtained the starting abilities yet. Though, when you're rolling, you can lock the abilities you do not want to roll away and slowly get the start you want. When you're settled on what starting abilities you would like to go with and also selected your main stat, you can proceed to quest and level up. When you hit level 10, you will get the dice on top of your screen again, to which if you click it, will ask if you want to reveal a new spell or talent. This is a protective measure, because when you reach level 10 or higher, you cannot card abilities and talents anymore. Though it's a bit misleading. You can go all the way to level 60 with just the 4 starting abilities and not having clicked your dice, can still card abilities and talents. The only thing is, if you reveal a new spell and talent, you will be locked to your current cards. We will go ahead and reveal the new ability and talent. While leveling, you will get a new talent at every new level and an ability at every second level. Since it's wildcard, it's all random with what you will get. Now go on ahead and level all the way to 60. There's multiple ways you can do this, which includes open world questing, battlegrounds, and the new addition in Season 9, Mana Storm. There's basic concepts to what you would like in your build depending on what you're going for. For example, if you're going for a melee focus build, talents like Overheated Strikes, Flurry, Serrated Blades, Shredding Blows, Sidearm Specialization, and Improved Disposed Armor are great pickups to just about any. Abilities can be different depending on what you want to do, but I would advise starting with a gap closer like Charge, a basic set rotation to focus on, and see if you get lucky with good cooldowns like Burabashi Blood Rage, Recklessness if you got Berserker Stance, Hunger for Blood if you get Deep Wounds or Focus on Bleeds, and so on. The same logic can be applied to casters. Great talents to roll would be Mind Mastery, Lunar Guidance, Legacy of the Arcanist, and Spellslinger in conjunction with a clearcasting talent which you would want. The same rule applies here in terms of a rotation, but it can also be focused down to a specific school of magic you want to play as. These are Shadow, Nature, Arcane, Fire, Frost, and Holy. They all have different amounts of talents that can increase their output of damage or proc a specific interaction. This same logic applies to melee as well. Tanks and healers are counted the same, but again, it changes depending on what you want to do. With tanks, there's multiple you can go with. It's generally boiled down to parry tanks, block tanks, and dodge tanks. With healers, there's some variety. You can be a nature healer, holy healer, or even a melee healer. I'm keeping it kind of open-ended here since there's many things you can do, but my advice would be that you sit down and try to find what you might enjoy and look for talents and abilities that can benefit your build. You can search for things that specifically interact with an ability you have by searching for it in the skill card tab. When you hit 60, you can head on over to Silas Darkmoon in either Stormwind or Orgrimmar, whatever faction you play. Every 10 levels with your current specialization, you will have 3 Scrolls of Fortune that you can claim. These scrolls enable you to roll away abilities and talents you do not want. And this uses the same random logic as when you were leveling up. A good thing to note is that these scrolls are divided up into 2, in which the other one is for ability rerolls and the other for talents. You might have noticed that some of your talents are not fully leveled up, and that's because it's up to chance what level you get them at. When you reroll a talent, there's a chance that it will upgrade one of your uncapped talents. You can follow the logic I said before, being on the lookout for talents that will flat out increase your stats or have a generic interaction with the current abilities you have. A little tip is that talents can also use the ability scroll for rerolling, but not vice versa. Enchantments are small but powerful pseudo talents you can apply to your current specialization. If you open your character advancement window, you can see at the bottom the Mystic enchant tab. Clicking on it, you're met with something that kind of works like the old glyph system that WoW used. Here, you can apply enchants that can influence the cooldown on damage of talents, and even some that gives a flat increase in damage to the different damage schools. Some can give energy, mana, rage, and hit rating, and some have a prefix like fighters, wizards, draconic, necrotic, primal, demonic, gigantic, and element bound. Those with a prefix are called Willforged, and they can drop from different enemies in the world. When you get a Willforged scroll and you use it, it will only give you an enchant on a spell you currently have in your specialization and not random ones. For the most part, you can have 3 of the same enchant, but some are locked to only 1. To actually use enchants, you would need to be at an enchanting altar, and here you can buy an untarnished Mystic scroll, where you can then reforge it to a random enchant. Reforging costs Mystic runes, which you can get from doing basically any activity in the game. Additionally, you get experience when reforging a scroll, and getting a level gives you a Mystic extract. If you get an enchant you want, you can save it to your collection, and that costs Mystic extracts. You can also get free Mystic extracts from prestiging. Applying the enchants you want will also cost Mystic orbs, and these you get from almost doing any activity as well. So, you have been rolling your build for a bit and hopefully gotten a decent start. What do you do now? There's many activities you can partake in and things you can get started with. Do you want to raid? Join a friendly guild that routinely clears raids. Want to do Mythic Plus? Be on the lookout for looking for med messages and general chat. Want more marks so you can buy scrolls? Do dailies. With that said, I'll go over these individually now. What most players would do is doing your dailies to get marks that you can buy scrolls of fortune from Silas with. If you head over to the call board that is in many major cities, you can take a look at what the current daily quests are. These are divided into PvE, PvP, professions, high risk, and miscellaneous. What we would focus on first is the PvE tab. There's daily quests for all the dungeon difficulties there is, but also routinely 5 open world dailies that rotate after daily reset or if a server crash happens. They are always condensed into a single area and zone. The little counter that's on the right side of the daily quest is the amount of times you can complete them. These can stack up to 7 if you are not done them daily. You can head on over to the current area where the open world dailies are and begin questing. A little tip here is that there's a story item that enables you to summon your very own call board when you're out and about, with which you can hand in your dailies and, if you have more, accept them again and rinse and repeat. If you do not have your own call board, you can try to head over to the wanted quest of the dailies, or be on the lookout for an exclamation mark on your minimap to see if people have put down their own. If not, you will have to take the long hike of going back to the call board in your city. So, you want to raid? Of course you do, we need all the scrolls. My advice would be that you find a friendly guild that clears raids routinely. There's 4 different difficulties you can tackle raids on, which goes Normal, Heroic, Mythic, and Ascended. For the most part, Normal and Heroic have the same mechanics on bosses, while Mythic and Ascended introduce new ones. Every boss in the raid will drop caches that, if clicked, prompts you to either select to get a random piece of gear according to a main stat or marks of Ascension. Every individual boss also has a chance to drop Cases of Fortune. Cases of Fortune contain scrolls of fortune that will be given to the current specialization you're on. With this, you can switch to a different specialization that you want your scrolls of fortune on, and use your cases there if that's what you want. Then there's Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus is dungeons you have probably done before, but with a scaling difficulty in accordance to the number it has. If you have a key, you can advertise your key in the general chat with a simple "looking for men, your link key, need healer, tank, DPS. If you have gathered a group of players, you can go ahead and make your way to the dungeon. Make sure the difficulty is set to Ascended and make sure everyone is ready. When everything is in order, you can go ahead and right click your key and your run will start. There's criteria for you to complete the dungeon, in which there's an amount of bosses you need to kill and a percentage of trash mobs you need to kill as well. When you have felt the percentage of killed and an amount of bosses that will suffice, you can go ahead and kill the last boss of the dungeon. After completing it, you will be rewarded with an upgraded key that will upgrade according to how fast you clear the dungeon, the highest being 3 levels, and Mythic coins, with which you can use to buy and upgrade gear from Mythic Plus. The Mythic Plus vendor is located in your major city of choice, where you can talk to a guard and choose the Mythic items vendor for them to show the way. These are the most popular activities to do at endgame, but you can also dip your toes into professions or high risk if that's to your liking. I unfortunately cannot speak on professions as I do not do them enough. High risk is open world PvP where different zones have a tier from 1 to 3. In high risk tier 1, you will only drop items from your bag and never any equipped items, and you're able to find Bloodforged gear. Bloodforged gear is basically the same gear you would normally wear, but it has PvP power instead of PvE power. These two stats differentiate how much percentage of damage you do against players. So, if you wear non-Bloodforged gear, you will most likely get farmed by other players. Tier 2 zones makes you able to drop equipped gear, and Tier 3 is basically the same but more extreme. If you die or kill another player, they will drop a chest with gear and gold from the character and inventory. If you're scared of losing your gear, you can thankfully put insurance on it through the fell commutation system, but it comes with a hefty gold price. Also, exclusive to high risk, mobs will drop materials that can only be found here and is used for different powerful profession recipes. Well, what else is there to do? Well, you can prestige. Prestiging is where you can reset your current specialization to level 1 and lose all the abilities and talents you currently have. This is a great way to start over, try another build, or maybe even see if you get luckier this time around going for the same build you wanted to play. If you want to prestige, you can talk to Chromie. She is located in every major city. If you talk to her and scroll down, there's a button that says to reset your current specialization and activate prestige mode. If it's grey, that means you have either Cases of Fortune in your inventory or Scrolls of Fortune on your current specialization. If you have multiple specializations, I would advise you to use the Cases of Fortune on those. Then, you can go ahead and click the button at the bottom, which will delete all your Scrolls of Fortune for your active specialization and cases in your inventory, if you have them. After this, the button for resetting your specialization will become available. Do make sure you're doing all of this on the specialization you intend to reset. After you have reset, it will give you 100 tokens of prestige. These tokens can be used to buy transmog items, mounts, and heirloom gear from Chromie, which you can open if you click the prestigious rewards tab while talking to her. My recommendation would be buying the heirloom gear first, as they give experience bonuses. Every day, there's a different prestige quest which rotates between dungeons, open world, and battlegrounds. You do not have to accept anything, as you will automatically be on the quest of your prestige. Doing any of these activities will give bonus experience gained when doing them. When you hit 60 and have completed the daily prestige quest, you can turn in the quest of Chromie, where you will be awarded with more tokens of prestige and marks of Ascension. I'll be rapid firing some good things to know, in no chronological order here. A good thing to know is when you buy Scrolls of Fortune from Silas, you will be given card packs as well. If you open these, you will be given cards that you can use the next time you prestige. These card packs include every ability and talent there is. If you get a duplicate ability or talent, the progress bar at the top will increase, and, if full, will give you one of all card packs. Additionally, if you're unlucky with your cards, there's a chance that what you're looking for can be attained through the open world. Some mobs, chests, and interactable objects that in some way, shape, or form references the ability or talent can drop it. The hunt for these has been meticulous, and many have been found. There's a Discord server called Ascension Collectors where you can give it a look and see if the thing you're missing has been found in the world. I'll leave a link to the server in the description below. Also, an important thing to note is that if one piece of an enchant has been found, all the other parts of it cannot be found in the open world, and you have to be lucky with your card packs. If you're going to prestige a lot, do look into potions of experience and auras of experience. These give additional experience to all your activities and make the journey way faster. Both can be bought on the store with donation points or through the auction house. The common strategy is to hit level 10, pop your potion and/or aura, and spam BGs until you're 60. Potions last an hour, while the aura lasts until you're max level. Also, the aura applies to everyone in your group, which means if you don't have an aura but you go into a battleground and someone else does, it will also apply to you. A good reminder is that you can leave BGs when you have hit the max level in your bracket. This means that if you're level 10, get to level 20, you can leave without getting the battleground debuff. If you're planning to do Mythic Plus a lot, I would look into Stones of Retreat. These are basically teleports to different points of the world and will make it less of a hassle to go to the dungeons. Though in general, they're just really nice to have. There's also many different items you can buy, again, through the store and the auction house that can vastly help you in your day-to-day gameplay. These things include the Lootbot 3000 that will automatically loot the enemies you and your party kills, the Fixotron 5000, which is basically a repair bot, the Treasure Keeper, which is a bank pit that enables you to access your bank in raids, dungeons, and cities, and also the Personal Bank Vault, which is basically your very own guild bank. Additionally, there's of course many cosmetic items that can shape how you want to look and stand out in the game. Tyraxis, who is located in all major cities, is the Bazaar vendor, which offers many cosmetics that can be bought with Bazaar tokens, in which both the items you can buy and the tokens can be traded on the auction house for gold. You can also buy Bazaar tokens with donation points. If you don't know what you want to play, taking a look at the builder on the Ascension website can give you some good ideas. There's no builder on Elune since it's wildcard, so Area 52 will have to do. Since a lot of the enchantments that we'll hear before has been split up, it's a good idea to hover over the LRE that the build you have chosen has and search for the individual spells and talents of it in the skill cards window. Also, the caches you get from your dailies at the call board scales with your current item level. This means that you progressively get better gear the higher it is, and you can get raid and dungeon gear accordingly. They can also give you cases of fortune as a bonus. Wondering why your DPS is low? Remember to get your hit rating to 14% so your spells and abilities will always hit and not miss. Low damage could also be your gear or even having talents and abilities that are mismatched together with no correlation at all. Have a goal and focus around it. So, now you know most of the systems and how things work. You've been grinding daily to get marks and reroll your abilities and talents like a madman to get on top of the DPS and healing meters. What else could you be doing? Is there something you might be missing? I'll try to cover some things that I would have liked to know beforehand, or just things that are worth mentioning. There's many ways you can make yourself wealthy. Even if you want to swipe your credit card or mindlessly grind, it's all up to you. You can buy donation points, and if you want to sell them, you would advertise your DP in general chat, where one DP goes for a specific rate. You cannot trade DP directly, so the trade is done through items you can buy on the store of the website. You trade the items to the buyer and you get gold. You can also mindlessly grind Mana Storm, where the store pet, Coxley, paired with the Loot Transfigurator 5000 is a blessing. Here, you will go as fast as you can through the levels looking for greedy demons. There's a WeakAuras that will automatically summon Coxley for when you enter a new level, and a macro that targets and marks the greedy demon in your current instance, as well as WeakAuras here too to tell you the distance of the targeted demon and to make it stand out. I will have these linked in the description. Additionally, you can farm professions to make and sell materials and items that are currently the profession daily turn-ins. Other than that, the gear you get from daily quest caches and raid caches can sell for an okay amount and will rack up pretty easily. There's also a jackpot that Goldilocks offers, and he's in every major city. You buy tickets to be given a chance of winning a pot that people contribute to through buying tickets. This is very unreliable, as the more tickets you buy, the higher your chances are of winning, but it's all down to chance. Do your dailies every day for marks. Always clear all raids on all difficulties every week. Do a prestige and make a build focused on Mana Storm. 2 builds excel at Mana Storm farming, where the other one is Astral Storm for one-shotting the boss, and the other being Corrupted Bear that has tons of survivability and damage. With the Astral Storm build, you start with Cat form for the movement speed and charge. Nothing else really matters at level 1. You card Nature's Swiftness, Astral Storm, Dash, and Arcane Power. For talents, you would card Cloudburst, Feral Swiftness, Call of Thunder, Ancestral Knowledge, Arcane Mind, and Earth and Moon. Anything that increases your intellect and damage to your arcane and nature damage is key here. For Corrupted Bear, you will start with Bear Form, Charge, Swipe, and Enslave Demon. Your cards would be Flame Tongue, Shadow Waste Bolt, Soul Link, and Enrage. For talents, you card Overheating, Unbounded Death Healer, Maledictive Assault, Shadow Strikes, Nightmare Mauling, and Unbounded Deathbringer. You can change Unbounded Deathbringer for Savage Defense or Corrupted Bear Form if you feel survivability or damage will be an issue. Macro Enrage on everything. High Roll Maul. Other ways to farm skulls would be Battlegrounds, but I do not see it as a viable option as the other ones. There's a lot of talents and spells that you have to think about in Season 9. This makes it kind of convoluted to work with and can be confusing if you try to make your own build. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't have to be. No matter what you go for, you will be at the mercy of the RNG gods, and it doesn't matter how many times you prestige, you will not land the perfect build. But you can save yourself some stress and make it a bit easier to get something to work and hope for some good high rolls. Think between the lines. If you're a tank, you would most likely card Soul Link but not Felguard just because Soul Link is that important. The slot where Felguard should be could be something vital to your rotation. You do not card the Demonic Embrace talent for Soul Link, but Anticipation or Adaptive Defense 5 out of 5, as these would theoretically be harder to roll. If you're a block tank, you would love Hoplite Training, but it's not at all vital to the build, just a nice thing to have. However, something like Redoubt that increases your chance to block is insanely valuable to have. You cannot afford to lose this kind of value. Stacking tons of legendary talents and abilities will only get you so far, but when you get to level 60 and get none of the basic things that actually makes the build work, you'll have to go again, we go again! I've seen this countless times and it always ends up the same. Card a good foundation, see if you get decent rolls, and then invest your marks into it. Endlessly prestiging will not satiate your hunger for the perfect build. It will take time and patience. So, you made it to the end of this rambling I've been doing. I just want to say thank you once again for watching. It truly does mean the most to me. If you have any questions in regards to anything in this video, feel free to comment and I will try to answer you. I hope you learned something and that I helped you in some type of way. But that's all for me. Have a great time in Ascension and I'll see you in the next one.
Hey, no man. No man, you gotta give a bone, man. Me bumbo!